Hey guys, welcome back to Cat Explorers. I hope you guys have really been enjoying the series so far, or the 5 week excursion thing, whatever. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it. So now we're going into the love letters to Egypt, and I said love letters, yes, because what I'm thinking is, guys, we're going to make it at least two parts. It might be three plus an additional part to talk about the wedding. So then that makes four. But I think I'd rather do that, guys, than have like a 3 hour podcast about like my trip to Egypt. And I don't want to say apologize because I think the content is good, but it is not my intent to have these hour-long podcasts. But the things are just going that way. And that's why I said I think I'll break the Egypt one down into like two parts, at least two parts, because it was such a complex trip, and not in a bad way. It was absolutely great, but each kind of thing that I experienced kind of deserves the proper amount of attention, right? Like I met the Egyptian the Egyptian young man who calls me mom, and it's so weird. It's so kind of hard for me to call him son because not because I don't adore him. I do really adore him, like I probably would adore my own natural child. But I have been child free my entire adult life, and so now at age 47, I have someone who calls me mom, and it's so strange to me, not to him. It's quite okay with him. It's just strange to me. But anyway, so the first part of the trip involves me. I got there a couple of days early before the tour start. I just kind of hang out in Cairo. Has family treats me to a nice dinner. So that's kind of part one. Part two, I'm thinking we'll just see how the timing goes. Part two is gonna be when the tour starts. If I could get through the tour in like an hour, it was a 2 week tour. If I can get through the tour in like an hour, then I'll do talk about both weeks. But I'm thinking week one will be part two, and week two will be part three. And then, like I said, there'll be another episode that talks about me coming back for the wedding. Um, so again, I hope you guys are enjoying it. It was just it was really just a great trip of a lifetime, and I was kind of thinking about this, and then we'll get into the episode. But I was kind of thinking about this, just like with visiting the ruins of Pompeii, and then visiting all of the stuff with the Sphinx and the pyramids and all the ancient temples I saw in Egypt. It was kind of a like archaeological, historical kind of thing, right? Because again, I'm saying things that are thousands of years old, and they look incredibly brand new. Like I went to I think it was King Ramses the Fourth tomb, and the hieroglyphics, like everything is just so vibrant. Like it doesn't look like it's thousands of years old, and then you're just in awe because you step back and you realize it is thousands of years old, and it's still here for you to exist, for you to see and experience and all that kind of stuff. I just stumbled over words, but it also made me think of something else. I was listening to something the other day, and the guy was talking about. I think he does a podcast on YouTube. No, he does a YouTube channel. And he's like how he stumbles through his mistakes because he's like, I'm not perfect. And so he was like, I could have them stop it and re-record it, but why? Like, I'm not perfect. And so I kind of feel like that. I tell you guys that all the time. There are little hiccups, or I'll take a longer pause or take a swig of water or whatever. But I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not perfect. I tell you all the time, I'm building this plane in the sky. And even though it's a whole new aircraft because we've done a whole big rebranding and everything, um, I still, there's still things I'm thinking about, things and making changes every day. And we're like 4 minutes in, guys, and I still haven't given y'all housekeeping items or anything. But I just kind of wanted to tell you guys that. So that's kind of the direction I think this last part's gonna go. The last leg of this trip is gonna go. There are a couple of little bonus episodes too that you guys will see. This is actually part of the housekeeping. I mean, we could just say all of this is part of the housekeeping, right? Without me saying like, yo, housekeeping. But Let me say one other thing too. Like it's an hour, like the podcasts are an hour, right? But guess what? So not only do I record them, but then I go back and listen to them as well to make sure they sound good and to make sure they're clear, to make sure they're crisp. I do take out if there's a really like a couple seconds, long break or something. I do take those out so it kind of flows a little more consistent. But so just as sure as you guys have to listen to my raspy old voice for an hour, I go back and listen to it too. I speed it up to about 1.5, so it's not like 2 hours that I'm, like an hour recording and then an hour listening. But it's still long. But I do, you guys aren't in it alone. I just want you to know that I do go back and I listen to it as well to make sure it's pleasing for you guys as well. So that being said, a couple of different things. I think I called you guys explorers before. It wasn't working for me. But I think what I want to call you guys is Cat's Crew. I like that. It feels familiar. It feels friendly. Cat's Crew of Globetrotters. I think that's who you guys are. But for short, I'm going to just call you guys Cat's Crew. The other thing is they're going to be like some little bonus episodes and things of that sort. Not just the ones I kind of, when I'm thinking about something I record quickly in my car. I'll still do those. But these other ones still might be a little more like structured. But for example, I missed my plane. I missed my connecting flight going back home from Cairo to Houston. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how I actually got a passport stamp for Turkey. Even though I spent less than 24 hours in Turkey. Saw nothing but what I saw from the airport to the hotel. But we'll talk about that later. So I'm not going to put that part in the actual, like, love letter to Cairo. Love letter to Egypt. Because it just makes it a little bit longer, right? But it's a separate thing. And that section's going to be called probably Cat's Detours. Kind of the unexpected things that happen when you're just not planning for it, right? So we've got that. We've got postcards from Cat, which are just probably some other, they're not the be a tourist in your own town kind of stuff. They're just some other things. Like, for example, I'm waiting to hear back from these kind folks with this place in Houston called Magic Island. If you're from Houston, you're completely familiar with Magic Island. It's off of 59. It has a pyramid at the top and a Sphinx head. Not Sphinx head, a Pharaoh's head. It is just one of those things you always drove by. So apparently it used to be it's like not a club, but like they did dinner shows. It's like a Vegas thing. I think they did dinner shows and like magic acts and stuff like that. And then it closed during Hurricane Ike. And then allegedly, well, there's a lot of stories talking about they're rebuilding it, not rebuilding it, but they're remodeling it and it's supposed to be reopening. So apparently it was supposed to reopen last year, but I don't think it's opened yet. Or maybe they're taking like private tours. I don't know. Or like private dinners or whatever. They should really make it just an event hall. I'm sorry, I just got like sidetracked, but so it sounds like they're not sure like what's going on. But anyway, there have been some stories of management and the owners like allowing people to come in and take like photos, and there's a ton of articles already out there about the remodel and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, if you're from the city and you drive down 59 south, you've always 59 north, I'm sorry, you've always passed by this place, and it's always just kind of is a visually stunning place and all that kind of stuff. So that's gonna be I can't decide yet. It's either gonna be Cat's Unscripted, but it's not really unscripted, but it's probably a postcard to Cat, or a postcard from Cat. And basically I'm gonna title that as Houston's Love Letter to Egypt. It's a really kind of cool place. So I'm excited about doing that. Another thing that's coming up, the Houston Thanksgiving Day Parade's coming. And I always volunteer for that. This is like my 6th year, I think, going. I have to count my volunteer t-shirts and I can tell you for sure. But I think I got 6 of those jokers, so I think it's my 6th. I think I have 5 of those jokers, so I think this year is my 6th year. But as a former tourism director, I've done a parade or two, not quite to the scale of this, obviously, because I was in smaller towns, but really excited to kind of show you guys like behind the scenes of that. So I'm going to be going live on my streaming channels. If you guys have the bio site, I think everything's on there. Or is that just where you find everything? No, I do actually have the Instagram and YouTube channel. So I'm up to enough subscribers to go live on YouTube. So guess what, guys? You should follow me over there. So I'll probably be going live on YouTube, and if we're friends in real life, but my Facebook page is public as well. So if you have liked my Facebook page as well, I'll be going live on my Facebook page too. Haven't quite decided um, if I'm going to go live on Instagram or if I'm going to go live on my Bigo one. But I have different people follow me on different places, and some people follow me everywhere. So thank you guys for that, but I don't want to bore the people who follow me everywhere with the same thing, because I'm basically going to be walking kind of back and forth to show you guys kind of what behind the scenes looks like. And then there'll be a podcast episode about that as well. But really, really, really excited, like I said, about the kind of new direction and some of the things I'll be focusing on. Like I said, I've missed the be a tourist in your town, so the revamp and the cooler weather is really making it very exciting for me, because there's a couple cool things going on in Houston that I do want to kind of take you guys around to and show you. So super duper excited about that. What else? So if you caught the last oh, one other thing before I talk about that. The bio site is updated. There's actually a section on there called Cat Explores Collaborations. Yes, your girl is looking for collaborations. So you guys want to partner up with Cat, do some business with Cat, do some advertising. Click that link, find out how to get in touch with me. And I will gladly schedule an interview. I'll gladly schedule an appointment. We could talk about how we can partner together, get your name out, how we can help each other, blah, 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 XYZ. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about really quickly before, again, we get into the story. If you caught the last episode, which was about just I don't even know what we want to call it, my time in Naples. And I've been I think I mentioned it in the episode, and if I didn't, I'm going to mention it here. I'd really been saying that I really need to reach out to the city of Naples, their administration, to be like, this is the absolute worst trip that I've ever been on in my life, and here's why, and here's what I experienced in your city that I paid my good money to visit. So here's a follow-up to that. I have sent a letter or an email to the city of Naples, their mayor, and their tourism board, as well as Italy's tourism board and Italy's anti-discrimination organization, to let them know what I experienced as an African American woman traveling to Naples. As I said, every place ain't for everybody. By no way does my experience in Naples sully my experience that I had in Venice. Venice is Venice, and Naples is Naples, and Rome is Rome, and Florence is Florence, and as you get my drift. So it doesn't sully that. It just literally sullies my experience in Naples and how I perceive Naples and what I experienced in Naples. And again, like I originally told you guys, there's a lady who said she experienced what I experienced in Naples. She experienced that in Venice. I've been to Venice twice, and Venice has treated me like the queen that I am. So I've never had a problem in Venice. But I also don't reduce her experience. Her experience is her experience, and she absolutely loved Naples. And I'm sure she and I sat and had a conversation. She would be like, "Well, no, I'm not gonna minimize your experience either, because I experienced it. It's my lived experience, just like her experience is her lived experience." So I just want you guys to know that went out. So hopefully in the next couple of episodes, we might have an update. We'll see what the city says and things of that sort. I'm trying to see. I took some notes, because y'all know I always write notes. But I think I got everything. But yeah, so there's going to be a cat detour. It's just kind of my off the cuff kind of crazy things that have happened. Of course, you guys know there'll be a tourist in your own city, or be a tourist, yeah, in your city. But also, if I'm a tourist in another person's city, like I said, when I went to Vegas and all this kind of stuff, you'll get my little love letters or things like that, and what I experienced there. I'm also working on reaching out to Treble Music, which is an app It's an app that I like. Again, not quite affiliated with them yet. I'm gonna put that out there because I actually do love their app. But it's an app that you can listen to um, offline. It's a music app that you can listen to offline. It downloads all your songs you download from them, and you can use it offline with no data. And so it's been an app that I've liked to use even when I'm traveling domestically. But a great app that I like to use when I travel internationally because you know I mean, I do have data, but I can turn my data. Or like on the plane, like a 12-hour flight, I can listen to my music with no data. So it's super duper cool. Like I said, it's so that's one of the things I'm working on is like reaching out to them for partnerships and to see if there's some kind of way we could collaborate together. Um, yeah. So good things popping, y'all. So without further ado, we're going to get into love letter part one to Cairo or to Egypt, but it's to Cairo. So if you know me, and I think I've said this a few different times, so I'm not even gonna say if you know me in real life. Everybody knows that I hate mornings, right? Completely hate them. Not a morning person. Far more night owl than a morning person, but leaving Naples, my flight I think was at like 7, and you have to get there like a couple hours early, right? Or I get there a couple hours early because I've missed a flight or two before and completely hate it. So the lovely woman at the Airbnb, guys, and I'm so sorry, not Airbnb, at the B&B. I'm so sorry I don't have her name nor the B&B I stayed at, but I'll get that for you guys. Like I said, she was absolutely wonderful. Um, if she has a website or something or a Facebook, not a Facebook, but an Instagram or something, you guys should throw some love her way because she was absolutely lovely. But she also scheduled my pickup to go to the airport, and the Uber service was there at like 4 o'clock, or it was scheduled for 4. Let me tell y'all something. I probably was up at 2:30, 3 o'clock, ready to go, fully packed, the whole nine. I could not. Do you hear what I'm telling you? I could not get out of Naples fast enough. So Uber comes and picks me up. Takes to the airport. Let me tell you something. Usually I like airports, right? They're usually pretty cool. You'll see some cool stuff. I remember I was looking through some pictures, and I found a video from when I went to Thailand, and we switched planes in Korea, and there was like some kind of art thing going on, but they were playing music, and I have the video from that. That's usually my experiences. The airports have these really like cool things kind of going on. You discover something. There might be a little museum on the inside or some sculptures or something. Let me tell y'all, I ain't even like Naples airport. I don't think it's sullied with just my experience. I was just like, it was confusing to get around. I've never been more confused to get around from like one terminal to the next or where I was supposed to go and all that kind of stuff ever. It was just a really like confusing thing to get around. So needless to say, could not wait to get out of Naples. So anyway, I knew everything was gonna be all right though, guys. When I boarded the plane and the whole row was empty, so I was like, all right, so maybe that's the side of like all is right with the world. Cairo's gonna love a girl, and this will be the nasty part of the sandwich. But the beginning part of the trip, the top bread was good, the bottom bread was good, but the middle part was just gross, right? And of course, guys, that's my alerts. I don't even turn them off. Y'all know how it goes around here. I hope they don't annoy you. I try to get like simple like ringtones and stuff that aren't like obnoxious. So hopefully just like the little clickety click that's the other phone. So hopefully like the little clickety click doesn't like get too bad. Well, maybe I should minimize or something. Hang on. Okay guys, sorry about that. I just kind of turned them both down so they won't annoy you because they have different tones. Anyway, so the first leg of the flight goes from not Cairo. We're going backwards, guys. I'm sorry. Goes from Naples to Athens. No, guys, I didn't spend any time in Greece. Just the changing of the planes, but along with so let me tell you guys a funny story. So I'm going through, security or whatever. And so the guy at the immigration thing where they're checking your passport and stuff, he's like, "Where you coming from, ma'am?" I was like, oh, I'm coming from Italy because we don't even say. I'm saying the name for you guys for the sake of this trip. We can't even, or this trip, the sake of this podcast, but we don't even say the real name in real life. That's why I'm like, I'm coming from Italy. He's like, and where are you going? I said, I'm going to Cairo. So he's like, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Texas. He was like, I was like, and then I'm going back home after Cairo. He was like, are you sure? Like, you should just go on down to Mexico. Now, let me tell y'all something. I'm a kind of late bloomer to Mexico, but I love Mexico. And it's our neighbor to the south. And let me tell you, if I didn't have all those warm clothes, I probably would have tried to figure out how to navigate me a trip from Cairo to Mexico. But, you know, packing for two different climates was hard enough. And I did learn something, actually, by spending winter in, or early spring. Oh, no, it was winter. Winter in Italy is, it wasn't as cold as I thought it was. So I love cold weather. So I'm going to preface that by saying that because some people might be like, oh my God, it's so super cold. For me, I think I could have gotten away with like some dresses, some tights, and my jacket. Like even like I bought a couple dresses that were like sweater dresses. Even that was almost too much on some days. But you know, it was kind of my well, not my second time. I came around the same time, but I was like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And part of the trip that I'll tell you guys about while we're talking about this part of the Cairo thing involved me going to FedEx and shipping clothes back home because I was like, I don't need my luggage to be overweight and all this kind of stuff, which is an idea I got from my Canadian friend who was like, yo, go have a good time. Don't worry about anything. He's like, worst case scenario, like ship stuff back home. And that was actually a really wise suggestion. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't cheap. It was cheap-ish. But I mean, it was a little more than I thought I was going to have to pay. But it was well worth it because I actually bought the things during my trip that I wanted to buy. And honestly, what I mainly shipped back home was clothes. I shipped back my sweater dresses. I shipped back my jeans. No, I kept my jeans. But my sweaters and my sweater dresses because Cairo, even in March, was still a little warm. It kind of reminded me of when I went to visit my brother in Arizona. And it was like in March-ish. And, you know, still depending on some places you go, it's a little bit airish. But over there, they were hitting 80s and 90s. And Cairo had a couple of days like that while I was there. Though actually, when I got there, it was, I know I'm jumping around, guys. But when I got there, it was actually like, was it almost 90? Because they kept saying like, oh, it's so hot. They were like, it's unseasonably warm. So like the first 2 days I was in Cairo was really hot. And then after that, it dropped. And then because of the desert, they don't have humidity. So at night, it was really nice. At night, it was like 60 degrees. And I'm sorry, I don't have those conversions. Because I'm aware that some of you guys that are listening or you guys roll on Celsius. So forgive me. I'm trying to teach myself Celsius too. Like my phone, it's usually set up to give out the temperatures in Celsius. And so I'm Googling it right now. So if I sound weird, guys, just bear with me. Oh, it was like 15 degrees at night. So it was really nice at night. But yeah, so that's what I figured out. I'm like, I could have did this with just some dresses, some longer dresses. If it got kind of cool, put some tights on and then my jacket. But anyway, so the guy's like, yeah, you should just go to Mexico. And I'm like, why not? But no, I went home. Because, guys, it gets to a certain point where you just, for me anyway, like while I do love traveling, I love all the cultural immersions and, hanging out and learning the cultures and all those different things and the experiences that I have. There are times I just miss home. Like I think I would love to live in another country, no lies, and just experience that life. But Houston is always home for me. Houston's always the place that I'm going to come back to, that I'm always going to reset here. It's just home, So anyway, we have a good chuckle with the guys. Who's a real great guy. I wish I remembered his name. So I was like, if you're ever going through Athens, look for this dude. He's a hoot. But so as I'm walking, trying to find my my gate, what do I see? Ding ding, gelato. And a girl's happy when she sees gelato. So I walk up there. He has all these great flavors. I ended up getting like a mojito gelato. And I was like, I was laughing with the guy. I'm like, look, man, I just came from Italy. I've had the best gelato ever. And your gelato better be good. He was like, if it ain't good, I'll pay for it. So of course he gives me like a couple scoops, right? And then like as soon as I taste it, I'm like, He was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is really good." But all of that was really right with the world. So hopped my plane from Athens. That's the last of my notes. I don't need my notes to help me through this part. I remember it very vividly. But so I hopped the plane. I mean, we hopped the plane from Athens to Cairo. So I'm in Cairo. It's Ramadan, guys. The guy, from the tour group, he's there waiting for me. They have my name, big old sign. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I posted on Facebook. And I was like, y'all, this is how the girl's supposed to, this is how you're supposed to pick up a girl. One other thing, let me tell you guys. So a lot of times, the tour groups and different things like that, they'll message you like on WhatsApp, like, hey, are you there? I had to confirm like my times when I was coming in, like this, that, and the third. So I know most of the time, most of us don't have our pictures up. I have my picture up. But put your picture up. It helps them identify you, right? So the guy was a little worried because I was because the plane had landed, but if I walk slow, everything. But I also, after a flight, I always go to the ladies' room, and so that's why I was really kind of a little bit late because I had to go into the restroom. And so I see the sign with my name, but before I could even walk up to the guy and like say, hey, I'm Katrina, he's like, Katrina? And I'm like, how did you know? And he's like, the guy, I wasn't corresponding with him, but I was corresponding with his boss, and his boss like screenshot my picture and sent it to him, so he was able to identify me. So in those instances, guys, even if you're typically the kind of person who doesn't leave your picture up or doesn't want a picture up, in those instances you might want to have one up if you're traveling and dealing with tour operators, so they will know what you look like. And it actually happened to me the second time I went back to Cairo for the wedding. The guy was like, yeah, here's our picture. So it really worked out. All right. So I get there, and the tour guy he was great. They like help you with your processing and getting your like stamp. And Egypt has this really beautiful kind of metallic-y looking sticker thing that's their kind of visa thing. It's really kind of cool. I think I posted it somewhere, but I heard somewhere you weren't supposed to like technically show like your passport stamps and the little visa things online. So I don't know. Maybe I'll post it again. Maybe I won't. I do not want to get in trouble. I don't want to have the people knocking on my door trying to figure out why I'm posting all this stuff. But and speaking of pictures, guys, I have so many pictures. I keep telling y'all, like, I need an assistant. It's really crazy. I'm gonna try to catch up and post pictures of everything that we talked about, because I know it's like one thing to imagine it, it's one thing to see it, and I'm a visual person as well, so I want you guys to see it and experience it all along with me in real time. So I get there, and I happen to get there, if you're anywhere familiar with Ramadan, they break the fast at 6 o'clock, and so it's probably about 4:30 ish when I'm starting to head to the hotel, right? Well, the city kind of shuts down at about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then it reopens about 8. Oh, guys, imagine a road with 10 million people on the road. I think there was some other place I said I was a little scared. It was like the driving, but I have never been more scared riding around in a car than I was in Egypt with all these people. I mean, they like cut you off, and you just see people that just kind of walk out in the middle of the road, like they don't. It's like devil may care. Egypt is probably definitely a place I would never drive in. I thought Houstonians drove terribly, or Dallas people. Don't be mad at me if you're from Dallas. The Dallas folks scare me the way they drive. Yeah, Cairo's probably a place I would never drive. Thank God for Uber. So it's a really interesting thing. I mean, I could literally show you guys. Like, it's funny because I was talking to gosh, hopefully you guys don't hate me for hopping around a little bit, but it just reminds me of different parts of this trip. But I remember talking to one of the couples that was on our trip, and they also came in close to the breakfast, breaking the fast as well, and they were talking about all the traffic. And so when I go to uh, meet the young man, and he meets me at FedEx because I'm like, I need you because you talk Arab, you speak Arabic, and you could be my interpreter. Um, but they spoke English too. But I would imagine communicating in your native language versus your non-native language is a little bit easier. So anyway, he finds me at FedEx, but we go to FedEx at like noon because we're going to dinner at his parents' house, and like it's like night and day, y'all. Like there was so much traffic you couldn't even see like any parts of the road as they're taking me to the hotel. But like on this particular day, going to FedEx, it's like a wide open highway. Like it's just stark. And I snap a picture of it, and I show it to the couple, and they're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yeah, like it's like night and day. It's unbelievable." But anyway, we're gonna stay. Let me get back to the sequential order of things. So they're taking me to They're taking me to the hotel or the resort. It's a really nice resort, guys. I remember this one because I stayed there twice. It's called the Jazz Pyramid, and it's not too far from the pyramids, right? It's in Giza, and that's kind of one of the things I learned. Giza is where the pyramids are. Cairo is where the Nile is. Um, it's like a suburb type of thing, But they will definitely correct you on that. So those are one of the things I learned. But let me tell you what the cool part is, right? So there's a part where we're just, we're on the highway. They're taking me where I need to go, and then you look up, and then the pyramids are like right there, like right there, and I'm like, holy smokes, that's the pyramids. And at this point, my phone's in my purse, and I'm trying to like grab my phone so I can take a picture. Um, so I don't have a really good picture of it. Well, the picture that I get, so of course, as you're driving on the highway, the scenery changes or whatever, and so the pyramids are a little further back. There's one way when you're coming in, you see it. The pyramids are like really, really, it's big, like it's right there in your face. And then as we're like sneaking through the thing, then you see the two little pyramids are in the back, but they're still the pyramids, right? So I snap a picture of it, and then I like post it. I don't know if it's on my Instagram, but I definitely posted on my Facebook page, and I'm like, look in the very, very back, and people are still like really tripped out. But there is a video on my YouTube channel. This is from the second trip. This is from when I went back to the wedding, and I'm going on a felucca ride that's on the Nile, and of course I'm videoing, and you can see the pyramids, and they're right there, like you see them like big as day, and it's still. Even though I'd seen them like 2 months before and had that similar experience, it was still very awe-inspiring. I don't know how you see that every day and you just don't appreciate the majesty of that, but it was very, very cool. So that's like kind of my day one of being in Cairo, is that like I see these pyramids, I'm like, those are the famed pyramids. It's like really, really crazy. So me and a young man are talking. We're actually supposed to meet that day, but just everything was so long and I'd been up so early. I was like, yo, can we meet tomorrow? Because dinner was going to be Tuesday. So we were supposed to meet Sunday. And then I think Monday was supposed to be a break. And then Tuesday I was supposed to have dinner. Well, not supposed to. It was the day we had dinner with his family. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. If you're really, really tired, like that's cool. I'm like, I'm really, really tired. And he's 28. And I am not 28. So, Cat needs a little bit of rest here and there. So next day rolls around. He kind of tells me where he wants to meet me. We're going to have dinner together. He and I are going to meet and have dinner together. And so he ended up like scheduling like a Uber, and he's talking to the hostel people, telling them where I need to meet him. And so they like helped me schedule the ride, which is really, really nice. Let me put a pause in it right here. I wanted to say this. Egyptians love their culture. I don't know how I missed this part, but Egyptians love their culture. When I got off the plane into the Cairo airport, everybody's like, first of all, they're asking, have you ever been to Egypt or you have been to Cairo? And I'm like, no. And they're like, welcome to Cairo, welcome to Egypt. I heard this the whole way through. Even my second time, and just everywhere I went, even just being in Egypt, everybody's like, "Welcome to Cairo, welcome to Egypt," that kind of thing. It's so beautiful, and there's a beautiful statue of Isis in Terminal 3. I need to find that and post it. I don't think I posted it, but it's gorgeous, and they really like. If I don't know if you guys, um, they live streamed like the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is supposed to be the biggest museum in the world that's dedicated to one civilization. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen it, go back and like look on YouTube and see if you can find some videos from it. That's how you put on a show. They are a very proud people, and definitely very proud of their culture and their country. And you should definitely go check it out. But that was one of the things that I really really liked. So anyway, they helped me, get this Uber. So I go to meet him. A little background story. I think I told you guys I met him. We met on like a streaming platform, and just kind of started off as friends. I would go into his room. It's like it was a gifting site. Throw some gifts on him, and then I'd roll out. So one day he sent me a message, and he was like, "Why do you always leave?" And I'm just like, "Oh, I just figured you wanted my gifts, and we'll go." Like I would speak, because I'm not a rude person, so I would speak to him, be like, "Hey, how's it going?" type of things, but nothing, no serious kind of level. And he was just like, so I jokingly said to him, "This is," I think I told you guys in one of the other messages, but this is how Mommy Cat was born. I was like, "Do you need me to hold your hand?" And he was like, "Yes, like a mother." And we just kind of, from there, we just always kind of, and he always like would come to me and talk to me about different things, and so we had these conversations. So like I told you guys, I've been kind of pricing this trip, and then I was like, "Oh, it got really really cheap." And like while I'm over there, I might as well just go over there while I'm over there versus coming back home and then flying back out. So I was definitely really excited that we were gonna meet up and all this kind of stuff, or that I was coming to his town, that we would meet up, and he wanted me to meet his family, meet his fiance, and have dinner. So I was like, "All right, sounds great." So I meet him. So we go there, we see him. So he's looking for me. He's after work. He's looking for me, and I'm looking for him. But I see him, I spot him. It's like your children, right? Like your child anywhere. So when I see him, I'm just like, "Oh my God, it's him!" And we embrace each other. And y'all know how it is when you have a conversation with somebody, like you're talking to somebody. Maybe you haven't met them before. Like maybe it's like you're going on a date, right? And you're talking to this person. So you guys are comfortable on the phone. Like each level of the thing is like where you have comfort, right? But then when you meet them, that's a whole different thing, Like this guy I'm kind of saying, like it was kind of like that. Like we chat on the phone for like a couple weeks, got along really great. He was like, "Hey, let's meet for coffee." We go meet for coffee. There was no awkwardness between us. Like we both like remarked on how there was no awkwardness between us. Like we just kind of like linked up like we've been knowing each other forever, which implies that, right, when you take things like to the next level, like there's a level of awkwardness. So I meet this young man, and he gives me a hug. He's like, "Oh my God, Cat," like da 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 da. And so we're kind of walking, we're in Nassau City, so we're walking down the street. We're trying to find a place to eat, and like I think I told you guys in the last podcast episode, is like I feel safe. Like even though I was with him, like I could have been in that same area like by myself, and I think I still would have felt safe. Versus a Naples where there are cops everywhere, and I still wouldn't probably go any further than I went while I was there. Like from my B&B, like I tried to stay as close to my B&B as possible. But I think I could have like rolled through Cairo by myself, which is kind of what I did the second time I was there, because obviously he was getting married and he didn't have a lot of time to hold Mommy Cat's hand this go around. But and so we here's what's funny, guys. Like, right, so we were trying to go to this other place, but remember I told you all the businesses shut down when it's time to eat dinner. And so this one place that he really wanted to take me to, like the line was out the door down the street because it's at the time to break the fast. So where does he end up treating me for dinner? McDonald's. But it's fine because I think I mentioned to you guys I like to eat, there are times when I'd like to like sample American food in other countries to see how they do our food, right? So I'll eat, McDonald's in another country because I want to see if their fries taste like my fries, you know. So we go to McDonald's. He treats me to McDonald's, but he's quiet. And it's not like him at all when we talk. We like video chat and all these extra things. He's such this kind of, I mean, he's a shy guy. He's such this, he's such as like gregarious, you know, or he's at least comfortable with me. So he's like joking and all this kind of stuff. And then like we're sitting there having dinner and he's just so quiet. And I look at him, like I look at his face. And I know what it is. I know what it is. And so I'm like trying to tease him and poke him to get him to be like I'm used to him being, but he's still just like really, really quiet, you know. And and so I bring him a gift because you know that's what you do. I brought his fiance at the time, now his wife, but I bought her this beautiful scarf and I bought him a cowboy hat. And so of course I had my backpack, so his hat's in my backpack, and I forgot to give it to him when we parted ways, but I I showed it to him, and so he was really, really happy, but he's really, really quiet. So we have dinner, and then everybody knows I like a good snack. Guys, let me tell you something. I discovered this in Cairo. There's this Schweppes drink. I have to give you guys the full name of it, but just Google like Schweppes in Cairo or Schweppes in Egypt and you'll see it. We don't sell that here in the States. I got hooked on those things. So my first day there, that must have been the day I discovered it. And then so the day he and I together, I'm like, I need to go to a grocery store. I need to go to a store because I'd like the snack. My friends always kind of tease me about I snack. They're like, you never keep food at your house. You just keep snacks. I do. I'm a girl who likes the snacks. So this is no different. So we're looking for a grocery store so I can get my little snacks, right? So I get my snacks in my room. And so we find a store, and you know, again, I think quite how parents do their children. I'm kind of like, is there anything you need? He's like, no, just get what you want. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, I know you need something. Like, don't tell me this. So I go roam around the store, y'all, looking for the Schweppes and my little snacks that I want. And then I see him like getting other things, which I'm like, okay, I guess he felt more comfortable once I was away from him to go get what he needed to get. And so he's, you know, getting some stuff, and then he's like, you know, his mom wanted him to bring XYZ thing, which I'm like, it's fine. Your mother's finna cook dinner. And let me tell you guys, I'm gonna say this now, and then I'll tell you about the dinner, but which will kind of lead you to the dinner. I'm like, you know, if I cook dinner for you, or I tell you come to my house for dinner, if it's not Thanksgiving or Christmas, right? Dinner consists of like a meat and maybe two sides, right? Like that's dinner. So no matter what she was going to do, I was just like, your mother's gonna feed me. Who knows how much money she has spent to prepare this dinner for me. So I don't even, at this point, I'm not even interested in, like, not to be flippant about it, but I don't care how much it costs or that I'm paying like toward my dinner. Like that's the least I can do, right? So he gets all the stuff, you know, or whatever, the stuff that he says his mother needs or whatever. So and the grocery store was really nice. Like it's just, I'm the type of person, guys, I like to have just like authentic experiences when I'm in a place, a new country, wherever, a new city. You know, give me the place the locals eat at. Don't give me the trendy, you know, chain restaurant. You know, if I'm in the little town Lake Havasu, give me the little place that the local people eat at. Give me some place that I don't have in Houston. And so to part of what I'm telling you guys is to experience that, the dinner, all this kind of stuff, like a traditional dinner at an Egyptian person's house, it's just like really, really cool. So to have this, like, I mean, you know, y'all might be just thinking like, oh, it's just a grocery store, but to like really be just at a store, like shopping it up, and me looking for, you know, the snacks that I want to have that are equivalent to something that I'm gonna like, you know, it's just really, really cool. Guys, and it's 43 minutes in, and I still got like the day of the dinner to tell y'all about, so I'm gonna move it along. But so we depart, and actually it was that day I told him, I said I need to find a FedEx, I need to ship some stuff home. He hadn't heard of FedEx. It was fine. I was like, no, it's a shipping place. So he said, okay, Mom, we'll meet at FedEx tomorrow, and then we'll go from FedEx to my house. I'm like, perfect, or to his parents' house, because as y'all know, in different cultures, if you're not married, you still stay at home, which I think is really cool. So the next day we go to FedEx. I have all my stuff in my bag that I, have to ship back. So it's like some souvenirs and some clothes, which is great. And it beat me home. It got home probably took them maybe 3 to 5 days. I can't remember, but it was great. So like I said, don't shy away from that. You just figure it out, right? So go to FedEx. His girlfriend meets us at FedEx. Beautiful girl, beautiful, absolutely adore her. We just like hit it off. Like she and I just like mesh and bond and everything. She's like, oh my God, he talks about you so much, and I'm so happy to finally meet you. Like blah 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 blah. So today, that particular day, or that Tuesday when we meet up, he's a little more comfortable, right? He's met Cat. Cat's still the same cat. Everybody says that. Like, I'm the same person. You talk to me here, you talk to me there. I'm the same person. You meet me in real life, you could be like, oh my God, you're really the same. And so we get to his mom's house, and his mother's a very lovely woman. Um, his whole family's really good. But it was at FedEx that he told me it wasn't just gonna be his family there, it was gonna be his fiance's family as well. So I'm like, I don't know. Then I get a little nervous. And I don't know why. I'm a people person. 9 times out of 10, most people like me. And I just don't know why. Just the addition of her family being there just kind of made me a little bit nervous. And I think I kind of thought about it a little bit. I was like, well, probably because he's talked about me a lot to his family. Who knows what her family knows about me? But everybody's great. Like, everybody's like really, really nice. So we get to the house. And wait, let me say this, guys. So he gets home, and I get home the night before, and I told him I forgot to ask him if he needs to get detergent. And he was like, why? And I'm like, well, you need it. Like, that just makes sense, right? Like, you get all this other stuff, plus you need detergent. And so he was laughing at me. He was making fun of me. And then he gets home, and his mom's like, hey, did you get detergent? And he was like, how did Cat know? I was like, So when we leave FedEx, we get everything situated to get everything shipped back home, and we head to his house, and me and his fiance go into the house, and he's like, I gotta go get the detergent. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we get into the house. His mother, like, she greets me with like the biggest hug. She's like, welcome to my home. Now, the young man and the girlfriend speak a little bit of English. I mean, they speak enough because they both work at like department stores. So they speak enough to, like, I guess, get them through a sale at a store, right? But they're not fluent in any stretch of the imagination. But as I told you guys, Kat always has her trusty app with her, so she can always communicate. And they use apps a lot too. I don't, sometimes in America, I don't know why we don't use that, because especially in a city like Houston, we're so diverse, but you never see people really pull out their apps. I mean, when I was in Mexico, I went to Cancun and trying to communicate. I mean, they had their phones out with their apps like right then. They're like, hey, wait a minute. So anyway, but the mom like welcomes me in. So it's the mom, the fiance, and his two twin sisters. He has a set of twin sisters. So they're all really nice. Like, everybody's sweet. They're welcoming me. Same deal. Like I said, the young man and his fiance speak a little bit of English, but everybody else doesn't. But the twins have their apps out. And they're like texting. They're putting stuff in. So we're communicating. We're having a great time. The son comes back, and he brings me a Schweppes because Mommy Cat loves Schweppes. Remember, guys, I told you it's Ramadan, so they don't eat until 6. So it's about, at this point, it's kind of like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But they're very nice. They're like, they're kind of bringing me little snacks because they're like, well, she's not Muslim, so she's got to eat. And I'm just like, no, I'm fine. I can wait till you guys eat. We can all wait at the same time. So then his dad comes home, and everybody. It's such just a welcoming thing, and not even to go into politics and this, that, and the third, but I'm sure they've heard some of the things that Americans have said about Muslims, And they probably don't even know an American person, but they did not treat me any differently than they treated anybody else. His dad comes in, he gives me a big hug, and he's like, "Welcome to my home. Like, we're grateful to have you." They put me, sit wherever you want, make yourself comfortable, type of thing, and it was just really great. And then her parents come, and her sister and her brother, and everybody's just incredibly amazing. And I'm sitting here, and this happens to me a couple different times throughout this night. I'm sitting here like I'm having an out of body experience, right? Because I'm welcome. First of all, I'm in a traditional Egyptian home, beautiful home, and they're sitting around talking, just like my people would talk if we were sitting at Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. They're sitting around having a conversation. I don't really know what they're saying because I don't speak Arabic, and every once in a while he'll tap me on the leg and kind of tell me what they're talking about. But the bottom line is, like, I really didn't feel like I wasn't welcome there. And I think a lot of times in different types of situations, they try to force us to focus on the ways that we are different and not the same. But we really are the same, guys. We really are. We might speak a different language. We might look different. We might dress a little different. At the end of the day, people just want their families to be healthy. They want to be healthy. They want to live a good life. I think that's what people want, irrespective of who we are. Oh, one thing I forgot to say, y'all. It's so late in the episode. I got some new subscribers. I got some New Zealand folks listening. Shout out to you guys. I didn't check the analytics before I recorded the last podcast episode, and I saw it after recording that episode, and I wanted to say it at the beginning. So sorry, it's like practically the end of the episode, but I'm shouting you guys out. I'll get you at the beginning the next episode. But thank you guys again so much for your follows. I really do appreciate it. So back to the scheduled program. So everybody's there, and it's just really, really cool. Just a really, like, a chill vibe. I feel really welcomed. I mean, they basically waited on me hand and foot. I'm like, no. Look, I could get up, and, like, every time they saw me look like I was going to move, they were like, no, Cat, what do you need? What do you need? So they're bringing me juice and tea and water, like, whatever. So it's getting close to, and guys, I promise you, probably another 10 minutes and I'm done for real. It's getting close to time to eat. It's getting close to breaking the fast, and I hear them kind of in the in the next room, like, getting everything together. I'm not really paying attention. There's a basketball game playing, and I'm watching the game with the fiance's brother. So we're all, like, glued to the game, right? And it's 6 o'clock, and he says, "Okay, mommy cat, come on." So I go into the next room, guys. I walk into this room. I walk into the dining room, and it is full of food. It looks like Thanksgiving morning. I'm like, what? Completely blown away. This woman had been cooking all night. Her and her daughters had been cooking all night for me. And I mean, it's some of everything. I have the picture. I'll post it so you guys can see. But it was an incredible spread. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then, y'all, they had me sit at the head of the table. Like, I'm just gonna go grab a seat on the side. And he's like, no, mom. And he's like, you're at the head of the table. Basically, he's pointing to the head of the table. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, no. And he's like, yes. And so I go sit down, and as I'm sitting down, his sister puts a napkin in my lap, and I have my phone in my hand, so I pick up the phone because I'm taking a picture of the food. But then I just get, like, overcome with emotion, right? So I start crying. And they all look freaked out, especially him, because men don't know what to do when women cry. And so he's like, no, mommy cat, it's okay. And I'm like, I have my phone, and I'm, like, typing it out, and I'm like, no, they're not sad tears. They're really happy tears. And I'm like, you guys have went all out for me, and I don't deserve this. And he's like, no, mommy, you deserve so much more. And it was just an amazing thing. His mom is an incredible cook. She made the best grape leaves I've ever had in my whole entire life. And and his mom's like, eat, eat. And so because we had ate out the night before, he knows that I eat slow. And he's like, oh, mom, telling his mom, like, she eats slow. It's okay. She cooks like homemade baklava. I mean, everything this woman did was just, you could taste the love. And I really, really, really appreciated her kindness and her family's kindness and his now wife's family's kindness to me. A strange girl that he's friends with, because sometimes in our family, they're like, well, that's your friend. She ain't my friend. Um, I would like to say, my mother adores him. Of course, she calls him grandson. Um, but I would like to say that my whole entire family would be as accepting of him and welcoming of him like that. And I mean, people, they know about him. I'm not saying that, but um, yeah, it really, and even talking about it, I mean, I'm not gonna cry, guys, but um, even talking about it, so it just takes me back to that moment and the love that I just felt um, from his family. And so I'm getting ready to go because I have a whole room, and his mom tells him, like, you can tell her she can stay. She was like, you'll sleep on the couch and she can sleep in your bed. And he's like, he tells me that, and I was like, no, I really got to get back. And then like the next day, we were having dinner with our tour group and stuff like that. And so I really needed to get back, and I'm kind of like that even in my own home. I might go to somebody's house and I might stay really, really late, but I'm still going to drive myself home because I like to go to sleep in my bed. But she gives me, so they have a lot of food left. So she gives me some food to take back to the hotel. So now I got snacks. I got more snacks. Um, oh God, yeah. Just thinking about the food was just so wonderful. I'm ready to go back, to have her cook for me. Anyway, so this is how I ended up. So I knew him and the girlfriend were engaged, but then it's like, they're like, oh, Kat, are you coming back from the wedding? So I'm thinking, the wedding's gonna be like this time of year. No, no, no. The wedding is like in June. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he pulls the ultimate kind of number on a girl, and he says, a son can't get married without his mom. And I was like, really? And I'm like, well, that means when I get back home, like, I've got to be planning the heck out of this trip, because this will be like a couple months. But of course I couldn't turn it down, because like, my thought is, whenever in life am I going to go to an Egyptian wedding? Like, this is, kind of a once in a lifetime kind of deal, right? Like, this kind of stuff doesn't happen like all the time. I mean, he and I were always going to be cool, but I mean, I don't know, to go to an Egyptian wedding was just the bee's knees, and we'll talk about that later. Um, so anyway, but definitely after this, he's very comfortable. I can tell he's very comfortable. We're joking around like we normally do. And I don't think I asked him until I get back to the States, but I'm like, you were really quiet the first day we met. And he was just like, I was just taking it all in. Like, I couldn't believe you were really here and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, yeah, you just like you are online. Like, you're just that person. I'm like, wow, Kat's like really, really here. And I kid you guys, like, I kid you not, guys. Like, every time I've seen him, like, after that, like, our initial meeting, it's always been good. And I think we're gonna wrap. But I'll tell you this: We'll go into the trip. So he comes to see me the next. No, see, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, Thursday. I think we leave. And so Wednesday we do all the little tour stuff, but then Thursday we head out. So he comes to see me before I leave. He wants to see me. He's like, "What time do you guys leave?" And I said, "We leave at like 8 o'clock in the morning." And he's like, "I'll be there at 7." He was there at 7. So that particular Thursday, that day happened to be my dad's birthday, March 20th. And so I meet him. He comes to the hotel. I meet him. And he's like, "How's everything?" And I'm like, "Everything's okay." I was like, today would be my dad's birthday type of thing. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. May my grandfather rest in peace." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "My dad would be crazy about you, though. Like, he would be completely fascinated by you." And even at times, I'm fascinated by him, because I'm like, this whole Egyptian man has adopted this African American woman as his mother, and you can't tell him that I'm not his mother. Just like his mother is his mother, you can't tell him that like this black lady ain't his mama. And so he's like, he's just like, Mom, are you gonna be okay? I said, yeah, I'll be fine. The tour starting today. We saw the Sphinx and the pyramid. That was what our tour date was, and the Sequoia pyramid too. I'm sure I just said that wrong, but the step pyramid, guys. And so it's like, okay, but remember, I told you guys, like, I really made it a concerted effort to have my dad's ashes, because I was like, like I said, my brother and I had decided this a long time ago, and neither one of us had did it up to this point. But I was just like, I really wanted to, honor him in that way and spread his ashes in the different places that I've gone. So how befitting it was to go to the pyramids in the Sphinx on his actual birthday. And so I was able to sprinkle his ashes at all the places we visited that day, and the step pyramid too. And believe it or not, guys, I don't know why Pompeii was so emotional, but on his birthday actually wasn't. Like, I was able to spread him, and I smiled and thinking about it. Like, I wasn't sad. I didn't cry, and that kind of spooked me a little bit. Because just about everywhere else up until that point that I spread his ashes, a tear would fall. And this time it just didn't. Like, it was my honor to be doing that, and it was like, it's kind of like happy birthday, Dad type of thing. So that was really nice. That was really good. Let me say this as I wrap it up, guys, because I haven't even added the sound yet, and we're already at an hour. But Egypt was one of those, really one of those kind of lifetime of a moment trips. And I can say this, that I mean, right, we all know about Egypt, the pyramids and the Sphinx. I really hadn't did any research beyond that in my thought process about, like, I wanted to go to Egypt. I mean, I just think Egypt was on our bucket list places because, yes, I want to go to Cairo to see the Sphinx and the pyramids. And I really hadn't thought about anything else or did any other research to know about any other temples that were there, anything like that. So as I'm meeting with the tour guide on Wednesday, he's telling me about some other excursions that, I can pay for and we could do. And I'm like, okay, when do I have to decide? So he tells me when I have to decide. And I was just kind of like, and none of the add-ons were like super duper expensive or anything like that. But it's one of those things where you're like, it's a once in a lifetime thing. I think I mentioned to you guys in the other episode that, like, I suffered a really bad work accident. I'm okay, but there might come a time when I'm not okay. Like, there might come a time when I can't walk I can't walk around Venice anymore. So I want to have, and I hope that's a long way from today, but I want to have all those experiences, because you don't know when you don't know when it's your last time. You just don't know. I mentioned to you guys in one of my bonus episodes that I went to a 27-year-old girl's funeral. One of my friends posted the other day that his 18-year-old daughter passed away after a battle with cancer. We are thankful for every day that we got, y'all. We don't know when our number's going to get pulled. We don't know when our ticket comes up. I'm just trying to make the most out of this life and enjoy it as best I can. So anyway, so I do all the add-ons. I do all the excursions, and it was all worth it. It was completely all worth it. I don't regret anything about that, and you guys will find out more about that in part 2 and maybe part 3, because part 1 was an hour and 3 minutes, and I haven't even added the daggone music. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed that story, and I mean, it was just just such an incredible experience. My heart just gets full anytime I think about it. And we're all friends on Facebook together. His dad and his mom will send me a message, and we'll chat. It was his twin sister's birthday the other day, and I posted my pictures that I had with them and wished them a happy birthday. They were just so excited. I'm blessed to live the life that I live. Some days I have, some days aren't as good as others, but I am thankful for this life I get to live. I'm thankful for all of you guys who tune in to listen to me. I'm thankful for all the people all over the world that I've met. Um, I'm just trying to be more of in a place of just gratitude. When I really do look back, I've lived a pretty charmed life. I cannot complain. Like I said, I was a tourism director. I've thrown festivals. I've thrown parades. It's amazing to watch that happen. From a girl who, my degree is in political science, not event planning, into playing a festival that has 5,000 people there was just, it was tops, y'all. And to step back and see it unfold the way you wanted it to unfold, and you see people there just rocking out to something that you put together. Nothing else in life kind of beats that. Not for me. That was pretty amazing. And then to have this incredible young man who, for some reason or another, has decided that I am like a mother to him, and that, he calls me mom. That's incredible. It is absolutely incredible, guys. But with that, I'm going to wrap it. And save some of this for part 2. Hopefully we're not as long. And like I said, guys, it's an hour and 5 minutes. Guess what? I'm going to press stop and I'm going to sit back and listen to it to make sure everything sounds okay for you guys. So, But to my crew, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. And remember, wherever you are, whether it's in your city or somewhere else, always pretend to be the main character, guys. And with that, if there's a story waiting, we're going to go find it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh, wait. Should I? No. I won't do it tonight. We'll just keep on with last week's or last episode's gosh, I forgot what we're calling it. The little thing we're supposed to do. We would just keep doing last week's one thing or last episode's one thing. And that's one thing you see, guys. Take a picture of one thing you see that moves you and tag it or hashtag it. Hashtag my one thing. Please spell out one. Or you could tag me on Instagram at Where Cat Walks. I am looking out for the one thing that you see, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.